Good morning, Bounce Back viewers. My name is Ben Bernabe, and I am a yoga teacher from Beyond Yoga. And I'm your host for our very first episode of Bounce Back Fitness and Wellness with Beyond Yoga, of course. It's been almost 5 months since we've been in quarantine, and there's been very little going out except for the basic necessities, no meeting with friends, no going to the gym, or no going to group exercises like yoga and any other dance or group class that you enjoy. So basically, we're all cooped up at home. So I want to ask everyone, you can sound off in the comments, how have you been keeping yourself physically and mentally fit all this time? For Beyond Yoga, we've been hosting a lot of free yoga classes on our Facebook page, and we have also been doing a lot of group classes through our Beyond Digital Studio. And this morning, we have two of our teachers who also are celebrity guests. And they're here to share with us some ideas or some tips on how to bounce back in terms of your physical and mental health through active lifestyle and through meditation in the middle of this pandemic. For BBN viewers out there, you're definitely in for a treat today because you will not only be motivated and inspired this morning, you will also have a chance to win free passes to our Beyond Digital Studio. So just let us know that you are watching by sounding off in the comment section below during the show, and you will get a chance to experience Beyond's digital classes. To those who have been commenting so far, thank you so much and welcome to our show today. In Beyond Digital Studio, we have more than 20 classes in a week. We offer everything from power yoga, vinyasa, rocket, ashtanga, and even Zumba classes. So don't forget to comment during the show and ask us if you have any questions. All right, so let's get started with our first celebrity guest. Our first guest is a well known photographer, and she's also the founder of Live Awake PH. She also hosts a couple of online talk shows during this pandemic, including Mind Flow and From Me to We, a podcast by Maxi Care. She teaches at Beyond Yoga and she also does private coaching. She specializes in meditation and mindfulness, along with yoga and integrating body, mind, and spirit, and also holds a host of workshops, retreats, and training programs. And yes, even now, during the pandemic, she still hosts those things online. So I'd like to welcome to the show our teacher, Sara Black.
Hi everyone.
Hi, Sarah. Good
Good
morning.
morning. So nice to
Thank,
be here. Thanks for inviting.
thank you so much for agreeing to be on the show today. And I believe you just finished teaching a class this morning.
Yes, I am running an anti-anxiety online course for the month of August, and a lot of people are experiencing some form of anxiety. We're in very, very unusual times, and we have no grasp of what's going to happen next week,
Yeah.
let alone next month. And I'm just helping people sail through as best I can.
I know, especially now when we suddenly have this announcement about going back to modified ECQ. So you're saying that people are experiencing a lot of anxiety. What have you heard from people so far? How does that, come out?
It's ranging in a variety of ways. Some students are experiencing triggers where they experience loss of breath. They have a
Yeah.
difficult time breathing. I have one student who was telling me that he had a panic attack so severe
Mm,
he felt like he was having a heart attack.
yeah.
And right now I think a lot what's on people's mind is there's so much economic uncertainty. You don't know,
Yeah.
like, if your business will be able to flow through, and just having those thoughts ruminate in your mind. What's going to happen next month? What's going to happen next year? How am I going to get all my needs met? It can be a lot for
Yeah.
anyone. And
Yeah.
anxiety is very, very so. I was looking at some statistics from the World Health Organization, and actually worldwide, as many as 1 in 27 people suffer from anxiety.
Wow,
So
that's a lot.
that's more than COVID cases, right?
I
You
know.
know,
I
yeah,
know.
1 in 27. So in
Yeah.
your immediate circle, there are people suffering, and it's not taboo to discuss. Let's talk about it. Let's take it out in the open. Let's care for
Yeah.
each other's mental health. When we're able to lean on other people for support, then it makes it easier.
Yeah, meditation is really well known as a good complementary therapy for people experiencing, mental health illnesses. But I mean, of course, we didn't see it coming that it will have this, mental health pandemic along with the COVID-19 pandemic, right? And I'm sure
Yeah.
you did not foresee that you will be placed in this, important
Yeah.
position. But how did you start out? Like, what made you decide to go into meditation?
It's a little long story, but I'll try to give you the bullet points so that we can spend time talking about other things and not just like my personal history. But short of the long is I had a multiple hip fracture accident doing training
Okay.
for a triathlon a few years ago. I had my hip was fractured in multiple places. I couldn't walk. I couldn't
Yeah.
even move. It was really every time that I moved my body, there was a shooting pain that was rising up my spine.
Yeah.
And it was so depressing, to be honest. Like, I would be lying in bed, waking up in the morning, just crying. So that would be the
Yeah.
first thing that I would do, just cry, because it was so depressing that I couldn't go anywhere. It's kind of like now we're in COVID, we can't go anywhere.
Yeah.
We're stuck
Yeah.
in our house. Maybe not just the bed, we're stuck in our
Yeah.
house. And at that time was already practicing yoga for some years, and I had a little bit of meditation experience, and I just told myself I don't want to be in this pitiful state. I'm going to do what I can to help lift myself up. So I was meditating up to 5 times a day. And I recovered really quickly. I was able to learn how to walk and run again in 4 months. So it was a really good recovery, considering that my hip was fractured in a bunch of places. So it's just a testament. That's my testament. That's my
Yeah.
proof that if your mind is healthy, the body and the spirit all integrates. It
Yeah.
really all does. So
Yeah.
yeah. And then I found myself going because I had really felt the benefits of being, depressed, and then I was able to heal through the practice. I found myself with this desire to go to India. And I went for a teacher training. When I came back, Beyond Yoga invited me to teach. And the very first Saturday after I returned, I found myself teaching. So Beyond Yoga has been such a big part in helping me arrive at my life purpose and my dharma. And yeah, and then now during the pandemic, I just feel like I'm in the right time, in the right place. I'm able to
Yeah.
help people deal with the mental health issues that are really debilitating them and helping them sail through with much more ease and grace. So it's been so amazing.
Yeah. I'm sure during the time when you had your injury, there were many dark days, of course. But
Yes.
what made you, just hold on and not give up and not be really, not really sink super low.
Yeah, it was just a choice between how do I want to be?
Yeah.
Do I want to be sad or do I want to be joyful? And then
Yeah.
I just kept making the choice over and over again. Like, I don't want to be depressed. I don't want to wake up crying in the morning.
Yeah.
I mean, like, what kind of life is that? And then the moment that I caught myself and like I just, gave myself a little bit slap, like, stop it, you're doing it again. But it's
Yeah.
important to kind of have the tools and the techniques to support you, because this slapping thing, it only gets you so far. But you
Yeah.
need, you need the support to kind of help you stay in that right positive mindset.
Yeah. Movement and exercise is said to help elevate our mood, right? But when you
Yeah.
were injured, of course, I'm sure it's hard to find any way to move physically. So how did you start get gaining that movement practice again?
at that time, because I was pretty much immobile, I was
Yeah.
working with a doctor,
Yeah.
Francis Diano of Pace Rehab, and he would actually come to the house and we would do therapy in the bed. And then
Yeah.
from that, we moved into the pool and he would let me walk in the pool. The pool, kasi your gravity is suspended. So
Yeah.
it's kind of has this weightless feeling. So I would be, the old Lola Walker. I had that and I was in the pool
Yeah.
and I was walking with it in the pool until he felt confident enough that I could come out and bear my own weight.
Yeah.
Because or any earlier than that, it was painful. Because of course the bones weren't really fused yet. So it was baby steps. And then as I was allowed, I stepped back into the studio. I was practicing as much as I could at Beyond, which is like a couple of blocks from where I live. And it was so humbling, that first time I did the downward dog. Because
Yeah.
before that, I was so mobile, I was so active. And the first time I did the downward dog, I was like, whoa, like I'm back
Yeah.
here. It just really brought me into back into my body, and that sense of
Yeah.
like centeredness and groundedness just came. So that's what's great about the yogic technology. It structures it in a way that it gives you those baby steps so that you can
Yeah.
keep growing at a pace that's comfortable for you. There's no need to jump into a headstand right away. Like, you work your way up until you get that the mobility, the
Yeah.
flexibility, the strength that you're eyeing for.
Yeah. We have a lot of people who are spending their Saturday mornings in bed, probably watching us in bed, like on their
And then,
phones.
galang-galaw na.
So, diba? So if you say that you started baby steps, like lying down in bed and moving in bed, how do you motivate them? And you're also a motivational coach. How do you motivate them to start moving without feeling demotivated?
You you can't really force anyone, or you can't even kind of convince anyone who
Hmm.
doesn't want to be helped.
Yeah.
Really, just being a supportive present and allowing that person to have the shift. Because if you're in a depressive state or you're in a low energetic state, naturally you don't want to be there. And it's only a matter of time before you ask yourself the question, what am I doing here? And
Yeah.
as soon as that comes to mind, that's the area where I kind of slide in, like, okay, I'm here. I can teach you how you can flow through this. But until you have that eureka moment for yourself, that I
Yeah.
want to be better, I want to grow, I want to transcend this lethargy, this sluggishness that I'm feeling. And it's
Yeah.
okay, this time is so unusual. If there's 2 weeks, 3 weeks that you're just feeling like really in a slump, feel your feelings. There's nothing
Yeah.
wrong with that. And really be compassionate to where you're at. It's not helpful to look at like your friends or your family and say, bakit siya active na siya or bakit siya
Yeah.
productive siya. That's not where you're at. Acknowledge where you're at, be kind to yourself, and as soon as you're able to catch that you can snap out of it, then do start doing the work. So this process is not the same for everyone.
Yeah.
Important to exercise compassion and not judge yourself
Yeah.
for not being where you want to be.
Yeah. So just like how you did it when you got injured, it's a personal decision for
Yes.
everyone. And it's also
Yes.
not a competition. So it's not a
Yes.
race at all. So for people out there who are wanting to start their own personal, movement practice, don't rush or don't force yourself if you're not really decided yet. And eventually the time will come, right? But as
Exactly.
you're
You can't be
saying,
there
that's
forever.
true. But you're saying that yogic technologies or yogic practices help us kind of give a little bit closer glimpse to ourselves, like a little bit more connection to who we are. So you've been teaching meditation for 3 years, 2 years now.
Oh, yeah. Nearing 3 years now.
And what kind of change have you seen in the students that you've had for all of these years?
Yeah, I'm really amazed because, to be honest, that so the where I studied, it's in the middle of the Himalayas, and the kind of yoga that they do there, it's a little bit different from what we find here. There's a lot of mantra using, there's a lot of mudras, a lot of different practices from what is usually being taught here, which is great because diversity is really cool. We can all learn from
Yeah.
different practices. And initially, I was really hesitant to teach some of the practices because even I'm sure you've had this experience, Ben. Some people, when you invite them to chant Om with you, they're like, "What's that? What are we
Yeah.
saying?" Like, feel a little bit strange. But really, the invitation is to transcend your mind and just come into the visceral experience of how Om feels in your body. And there's this really beautiful video that's been circulating online of this father with a child. I don't know if you've seen this, but then the child was like screaming his head off, and then the father just started chanting Om, like a long, like really deep,
Oh.
and the child stopped.
Oh,
The
wow.
so
Yeah.
it has that ability, mantras have that ability to really synergize us with the vibrations that are around us. And initially, I was hesitant to teach that because, people are like, kind of, what's that weird? Is it a cult? Like, what are you trying to do? But
Yeah.
surprisingly, I've been teaching it on my online to, not even like person. I've been teaching
Yeah.
mantras on my online courses for the past months, and wow, the students are ready. They are
Yeah.
so ready. They've been diving in, and
Yeah.
the experiences that they've had, like they're so sweet. They message me after and say like, wow, I had a breakthrough today, or I was
Yeah.
able to identify the thing that's holding me back. And that's from working with that different side of yoga. So yeah, not to underestimate your audience, like, sometimes in unusual times they're ready. So it's been great being
Yeah.
able to.
It's always a good surprise to see so many people seeking out, a bit more of their inner truth and inner wisdom. And you always have to be ready to, accept all of these people, and try to share as much as you can. So,
Yeah.
speaking of sounds and sharing, I understand that you have a little treat for us. Well, a little preview of something that you do in your classes. I think you
Yeah.
have your bowls
My
with you today.
So I wanted to just help you come more into the present moment. So a lot of the anxiety that we're feeling right now, it's because our mind is looping in the future. We're thinking
Yeah.
about 300 possibilities that can loop into the future. But then how we are able to arrive at that space of real profound rest, it's through the power of now. Not to
Yeah.
be anywhere else, not stuck in the past, not stuck in the future, but to just be here now. And sound is actually such a powerful way to anchor ourselves in the present moment. So I'll play a little bit of my Tibetan singing bowls for you. What I'll invite you to do if you care to experience the benefits of being fully present in the moment is just close your eyes and just listen without judgment, without expectations. I'm gonna shift my camera down now so you can see it.
All right.
And as soon as you're ready, just close your eyes and just listen to the vibration. Stay with your eyes closed for a few moments longer. Stay present to yourself. And when you're ready to come into the space, blink open your eyes.
All right. Thank you so much, Sarah, for that amazing sharing of your practice. If people are interested to join your classes, how can they reach you?
You can follow me on Instagram, see the light, be the light. You can also reach out through my website, sarablack.com. You can send me a message there to learn about what the upcoming offerings are for August and September. So hope to hear from you guys.
Before we completely allow you to go, Sarah, we'll be joined by another one of our friends here. For our viewers, I hope you had a very good sense of relaxation after that sharing by Sarah. But before she goes, we'll have another Beyond teacher coming on to the show. She's the managing partner of our Beyond Serendra studio, and she's also a triathlete. She's a celebrity, a model, an actress, an overall active person in general. Um, and she's also a new mother to a new kitten, which we saw earlier before the show. So I'd like to welcome everyone, Bubbles Paraiso, to the show. Hi, Bubbles. Good morning.
Hey guys, good morning.
Ayan, hi.
Hi.
Oh, I wanted to have the two of you together because um, you basically, is it Bubbles who introduced Sarah to yoga or to Beyond or to
Yes,
To
yoga
beyond,
practice?
yeah,
Yes.
to
yeah.
beyond,
Yeah.
to beyond.
Yeah. Can you, and you're both did you train together as triathletes?
Actually,
Yes.
okay, yeah, the funny story is, when Sarah broke her hip, I was there with her. We were training
Okay.
together. So yeah,
Okay.
and I mean, I know you're gonna ask me this question later, but I'm gonna say it while Sarah is here. My journey to triathlon began also. So when Sarah had that accident and broke her hip, that was the same because of her accident. It propelled me into tri because I had to replace her in the race. Like
Okay. Oh,
all of a
wow.
sudden, I'm the one who had to go on the bike because I just wanted to run. That time I was just running, and then I just
Okay.
accompanied her to bike around for fun, and I always just had fun doing it. And then yeah, so I that's why I called myself the accidental triathlete, but it was Sarah's accident that propelled me into the world of tri, while
Okay.
Sarah got deeper
Okay.
into her yoga. It's
Okay.
one accident and two lives changed. Yeah.
I know. Oh, that's such a wonderful story. I actually did not know that that was the aspect of the story. I just remember that you were also there trading, but
Yeah.
I didn't know that you replaced her. So, I mean, what did you have to overcome to become a triathlete? Like just from starting as a runner, what did you have to go through?
Well, okay. At first, when another friend told me or asked me if I wanted to become a triathlete like him because he was training, I said over my dead body. I said no. And this is the lesson to, never close your doors to anything, never say never.
Yeah.
Um, I, okay, I didn't know how to swim at
Yeah.
all. Like I know how to, make seasick, go underwater. I know how to scuba dive, but to go to point A to point B, I do not. I don't know how to
Yeah.
swim. Like that's it. So
Yeah.
that is one thing to overcome. Second is yeah. So riding a bike, I found it fun because it was something that I did when I was younger. And then running, I liked it but didn't enjoy it so much. But it was a way to get fit and lose weight or, or,
Yeah.
or or stay or maintain. So the biggest obstacle was the swim because
Yeah.
again I didn't know how to swim and I'm scared of the open water. I had a
Yeah.
near drowning accident as a child. My brother found me lifeless at the bottom of
Yeah.
the pool. So you can only imagine how scared I am of the water. And
Yeah.
you know, actually, every time there's a race, I have an anxiety attack right before
Yeah.
the race.
Yeah.
So the
S-
races that I did with Sarah, of course, I was calm because like, she's there.
I got you, I'll save you.
But most of the time, oh my gosh, it's scary for me. So I think that's one of my motivations to swim faster. It's
yeah.
really just like, okay, get out of the water as fast as you can, so that
Yeah.
it's over and done with, and you can bike.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I
at
just
this
wanted
point
to
in your, go ahead, Sarah.
No, I just wanted to say really quickly that as a friend, the way that
Yeah.
I see you, Bubs, is like you're actually naturally athletic and you're just
yeah,
admitting it now. So it was so nice. Yeah, it was so nice to witness your journey also because you were transcending so many of your fears and like using your body to
Yeah.
help you become a better person. So I'm
yeah,
getting goosebumps
Yeah.
saying this to you now, but I think that's the experience for a lot of people. Like once you start coming into your
Yeah.
body, it's so empowering. You know, whether it's
Yeah.
yoga, running, swimming, skydiving, whatever it is, like there's that sense of like, wow, I can uphold myself. And
yeah,
I really
Yeah.
saw you come into that. It was so beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
At that point of the accident, you were both kind of fish out of water, di ba? Parang you were both out of your element at that time. And it's so easy to kind of, parang sometimes it's hard pala to find support. Yeah. But I think you found support in each other at that point.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
um, what do you say to women out there? Because we see a lot of ano, 'di ba? Parang women starting to kind of not support each other at this time. Like instead of being sisters to each other, they turn out to be competing against each other. And I think it's important to have, message from strong women that, we can support each other. Ay, we kasama pala ako. That we
Of
must
course.
support each other.
You're part of the friendship.
Siyempre.
Yeah, the sisterhood. Yeah. So yeah, what do you say to women out there
I
supporting
think
women?
okay, Sarah
Go.
first. Okay,
Go,
so
go.
I think it helps that we were already friends before anything else, so there is no insecurity, and we know that we both have different strengths and different weaknesses. So we just help each other strengthen that. And I think what a lot of women don't realize is even if, for example, you're in competition. So, if Sarah and I race now, I think we're going to be in the same age group. So technically we're competition, right? But especially in the world of tri. So yoga is very non-competitive. In tri, it's very competitive. And I'm a very competitive person. But what you have to realize is your real competition is yourself.
Mm.
It's nice to have friendly competition. Like when I put, let's say, a target on someone's back, I want to beat her, but it doesn't mean that I'm gonna start dimming her light because dimming someone's light doesn't make yours brighter,
Yeah.
diba? So if you want the world to become a brighter place, you have to light everyone's candles. You have to
Yeah.
light everyone's lights, and I think you have to be in a place where you will be secure enough also with yourself to know that when you help someone else and when you help someone get stronger or when you help someone shine, it doesn't mean that and if they surpass you, it doesn't make you less of a person.
Yeah.
So some people, I think that's what they're scared of. They're scared that, if I teach you my skill and you surpass me, then you're going to beat me and now you're better than me. But then you should be happy about that. You should be happy for that. But a lot of people, I think they're scared. I think it's ego that
Yeah.
plays a big role in this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's really about letting go of the ego and just be wanting to really see other people shine
Yeah.
and be able to help. I think that's the start. It's hard to empower other women if you're not empowered yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can shine
Agree.
brighter without dimming anyone else's light. Yeah.
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 Beautiful.
Support is the way to go. I think we're also very severely conditioned to think that the goals that we achieve define us. But
Yeah.
the question that I ask myself is, how do I want to be? And
Mm.
not necessarily what do I want to achieve. Achievements are great. We should be achieving in our lifetime. What's the point of living if we don't go out and do stuff? But I always catch myself, rein myself back and ask me, okay, was I kind in that moment? Was I
Yeah.
loving? Was I compassionate? And I just keep coming back to that. And that I hold that to a greater value than what I achieved. So, parang if Bobs and I are in a race and she wins, then she wins and I can support her and be loving in that
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah.
Rather than thinking like, oh, I didn't make it. Like that's
Yeah.
not loving to myself also. So
Yeah.
just reorienting your values in the right way, like what is more important to you.
Yeah. There are many things that you can achieve aside from winning a trophy or a medal, like a good relationship with a friend
Yeah,
or a
Yeah.
fellow competitor is also
yeah,
worthy of that. Is also worthy achieving. Thank you so
yeah.
much for the two of you for sharing this digital space with us and allowing us a glimpse into your friendship. It's really beautiful to see and watch, especially during this time when we are in dire need of strong female role models. Thank
Thank
you so
you.
much. Thank you. So before we let you go, Sarah, finally, can you remind us how people can follow you again?
The best way is on Instagram at see the light be the light, or you can come to my website, sarablack.com.
And so we have Sarah's website and Sarah's Instagram on the screen. Please feel free to follow her and attend her classes. Again, thank you so much, Sarah, for joining us this morning, and see you again soon. Thanks,
Enjoy!
Sarah.
Bye. Thanks, Sarah.
So now we are
Okay.
with Miss Bubbles, and
Hello. It's you and me
as
now.
Sarah mentioned, Bubbles is a natural athlete, even if she denies it, or even she says she had to train so hard for it. But I actually thought that the way that you trained for triathlete was very quick and very brave because you didn't have any real background, diba? As you mentioned in
Yeah.
swim. So, for
Yeah.
example, when you're in the pool, which is one of you have traumatic memories of, what kept you
Yeah.
going and what kept you coming back every day to train?
Because I want to win. To be honest. So yeah, again, because yoga is very non-competitive, and I grew up as a tennis player, which has
Yeah,
nothing to do with triathlon, but I grew up as a tennis player. So the competitive drive has always been there, and triathlon is the one that fulfills that drive. And when I train, not just swimming, swim, bike, run. The reason why I'm always there is because I really want to survive race day. I want to be able to finish strong. I want to
mm,
be able to push my body into its limits. Like, how fast can I swim? Like, okay, I came from zero swim. My first race, basically, after that race where I replaced Sarah. That was just me biking. 3 weeks later, I did my first triathlon, and I didn't even know how to swim. It
yeah,
was all guts.
yeah,
And looking back, I don't know how I survived it because I really did not know
yeah,
what I was doing. So it's really a lot of guts. And yeah, so when I train, it's really, and I was talking about this with someone as well. A lot of people are always looking for the push. They're looking for the motivation. They're looking for inspiration. And, that is fleeting.
yeah,
So, right? Like sometimes motivation will just go. And right now, there are no races. So, what is, like, if you ask me, what's my motivation to train? If you, that question, the answer would really be none because there is no race to train for.
yeah,
So that's why it's hard to always look for something to push you. What
yeah,
you should always look for is what pulls you. What pulls you into swimming? What pulls you into biking? What pulls you into practicing more yoga? So
yeah,
ultimately, that is gonna bring you into a greater goal because it's a greater force,
yeah,
pull versus push, right? So yeah, so when I train and whenever there is a race, I train up to 20 hours a week,
yeah,
and that's just the pure training. Wala pang there's no like chica and warm up there. It's just that's like pure training. That's like 20 hours a week, and I really just try to do my best in everything because again, I want to push my body so that in the culmination of all of the training, which is race day, I can try to push as hard as I can and see compared to before, where am I now? Am I gonna push and do a personal best? And am I gonna be done by lunchtime because I want to eat by buffet? So it's really about what pushes you, and I say it as a joke, but really it's not a joke when I do Ironman 70.3. The reason why I really try to push also is because I want to be done by lunch. A, because I want to eat real food by the time it's lunchtime. B, because it gets super hot. And you know how a lot of people would commend and they'd say, wow, you're so fast, you're so galing. And yeah, sure, great. But honestly, I really admire the ones who endure, let's say for 70.3, who would like try to beat the timer for cutoff.
Yeah.
Those who are not so fast, but they still do it.
Yeah.
Those who it's 2 p.m. and you're still there. It's hot.
Yeah.
There's no more water, and you still endure. So they are really inspirational for me. Like I get my inspiration from them because, like with me, I train so hard so that I won't have to endure that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right? But your body can only do so much.
Yeah.
So it's not their fault. Also,
Yeah.
again, as Sara said, I'm a natural athlete. So
Just to give people an idea, let's give them an idea of how long an Ironman is. So let's start. What's the first event?
Oh, the Ironman 70.3 is a swim, bike,
Yeah.
and then a run.
Okay.
Of course, simultaneously, all in one flow. You're not
Yeah.
allowed to. If you want to rest, go ahead, but there's a time
But
limit.
yeah.
Yeah. So you swim in the open water for 1.8 kilometers.
Oh wow.
And then, when you get out of the water, you go on your bike for 90 kilometers. And then you end it with a half marathon, which is 21.1 kilometers.
Wow.
And you have to finish with a smile.
So 90 kilometers is parang, is it from here to Clark, mga ganon?
No,
Hindi naman.
no.
Hindi naman.
No. I think Clark
Hindi
is
naman.
about 150 kilometers.
Okay, so just siguro one 2/3 mga ganon. And then and the run is parang skyway from Makati to Alabang. Ganong kalayo.
Actually, balikan.
Balikan.
Because
Okay.
when I started, I was doing the skyway run, and we'd run Alabang till like just past.
Mamarsolo. Magallanes.
Just past a little before Magallanes, and then make a
sa
U-turn.
airport. Oo.
Yeah.
Okay, so ganong kalayo yung tinatakbo mo. You say pero I think kahit whether you do it fast or slow, you still need endurance, diba? So let's get out of training. Let's go into the actual race. What keeps you enduring aside from lunch? Like, what's the mental process that you go through as you do the race?
When I swim, when I'm in the water, all I could think of also, first of all, I sing in my head usually.
Okay.
And then second, I just keep thinking like, you just have to get out of the water. If you're out of the water, then it's done. And you train.
Yeah.
And I always condition myself. I always tell myself, you trained for this. I have to assure myself because it's so daunting when you see the course and you see how long the race is. It's so daunting, right? You think like, how am I going to finish this? It's so impossible. So I have to constantly remind myself, you trained for this. You wanted this. You trained for this. And then, of course, I always also tell myself, girl, mahal registration. You have to finish it.
So you have a mantra going on in your head.
There is a mantra. I think it helps also that I was a yogi first before a triathlete, becoming a triathlete. So there is some sort of meditation while I'm swimming. It's a moving meditation as well. and
Yeah.
I'm just in the moment. It's like right arm, left arm, right arm, left arm, and I have to again constantly remind myself, um, okay, are you still in the lane? Because one time, it's like a yoga practice. My mind went elsewhere.
Yeah.
So, if it's a yoga practice, you just fall off your headstand or something. This
Yeah.
one, I got lost in the swim. I was in the middle of the ocean, and Manong Banquero had to guide me to go back, to get back into the course.
Oh, okay.
I got lost. Yeah,
Oh,
and
wow.
again, I was on the verge of tears. I was asking the manong to just pick me up, and I was like, well, you know what? I'm done. I'm just gonna sunbathe now. I'm done. And he
Yeah.
said, "Man, you still have time. You just have to swim back. And
Yeah. Oh,
as long as you don't touch my boat or go near me, then you're okay." And I'm like, okay, fine. So I'm gonna swim again. So yeah, when I'm in the race, all I can think of is, yeah, I have to finish it because
yeah.
it's I have to prove to myself that I can.
Yeah.
I have to prove to myself that I am capable of doing this, and this is a sport that is dominated by men.
Yeah.
And I want to show myself, not even the world, I just want to show myself that I can do it and I can finish it. And it's not impossible to do. I think what a lot of people don't know is, so just like Sarah, I too had an accident, but not on a bike. I
Mm.
had a car crash 7 years ago,
Oh,
and also I was not able to walk or run or
yeah.
walk or even stand.
Yeah.
I lost mobility and sensation, but only on my left leg. I didn't break any bones, but there was severe muscle trauma.
Yeah.
So also I had to, that's where I got into yoga
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
really to heal myself. And
Yeah.
before that, I said I'm never getting into yoga because I was into anti-gravity. I
Yeah.
first practiced yoga and beyond, but in the anti-gravity studio in the QC
Yeah.
branch, and I'd look over to the, because it was two studios before, right?
Yeah.
I'd look over to the mat area, and I'm like, ugh, I'm never gonna practice mat. So weird. That is what I was saying. And then yeah, but yoga healed me, not just physically,
Yeah.
mentally, like everything, emotionally. So it healed me. And yeah, so when I swim, when I bike, when I run,
Yeah.
I just feel super grateful because,
Yeah.
7 years ago, I thought I'd never walk again. And now
Yeah. That's true.
I'm doing all of this.
Yeah. I mean, like from not being able to walk, you're now swimming, biking, and running around in long distances, and also
Yeah.
teaching yoga. Not just doing it, but you're now a yoga teacher. Well, you've been a teacher for a long time, so
Yeah.
but now you are also yin yoga teacher aside from
Yes.
Ashtanga, right? So tell us more about the reasons why you went into these practices, Ashtanga and yin.
Well, so again, I started from saying I won't ever do mat
Yeah,
yoga to to
here again.
practicing. Yeah, so I was one of those people who would say, "Okay, I'm gonna attend yoga to stretch."
Oh yeah,
Like that's our pet peeve, right? Like when we hear that, it's like, no. But I was one of those people, so I get you guys. If you're that person now, it's okay. It's very common to have that thinking that yoga is just a stretch. So yeah, so I just started with just stretching, and then when I got into the accident, then I started to practice some more, and of course I was already friends with the Beyond owners then, so I was always practicing in Beyond.
yeah,
Um, and then fast forward to, but it was always like an on-off thing, and then fast forward to 2014, I took a kids yoga teacher training when
yeah.
Beyond flew in Yogi Beans, New York. So
Mm,
I took that on, and I've always loved kids. So I took the training, and then I started teaching kids again in Beyond.
yeah,
So when I got certified, I taught, and then I even took a second kids yoga teacher training in Singapore, just so that I can really immerse myself into it. And after teaching kids, and I realized how kids are naturally flexible, and I was not, because again I lost my flexibility when I
yeah,
got into the accident. So that was when I realized, okay, I think I need to practice more and get deeper into the practice because
Mm.
like I can't demo a pose and tell the kids, hey, this is Cobra pose, and I can't even put my foot to my head.
Yeah.
And they're like, how, teacher? You're not, how? You can't even do it, right? Monkey pose is a split. If I
Yeah.
can't even do a split, how am I going to show them that
Yeah.
that is the pose? So that is the first reason. And then, fast forward to 2015, I got my heart broken, shattered into a lot of pieces. And um, I went to a retreat place and practiced yoga there, and I had a very insightful talk with their yoga teacher, and they said, and he said, no, you're already practicing yoga. Why don't you take a teacher training? And he
Mm.
said, well, not right now because you're heartbroken, but maybe soon when you feel that you're ready. And then I went home and meditated about it because I was already meditating then. And it hit me because I was so depressed. So just like Sarah, I was super depressed. I was so depressed. So I went on my computer, booked myself a whole month in Bali. So the Bali trip came first. And then it hit me. I'm like, wait, if I'm going to be in Bali for a month, what am I going to do? I'm so depressed. I might, jump off a bridge or so. I mean, we don't know, right? We don't know. I was sad. So I started looking for teacher trainings happening in Bali because that time we were already planning on opening Beyond Surrendra.
Yeah.
And I just got asked this question also the other day, how I turned my passion into business. And I had to admit that the business came first
Before
before
that.
the yoga. So the business opportunity came first. And again, I thought, why not? We're opening a studio, so why not become a teacher? So there, I flew to Bali to find myself, and ultimately I found yoga,
Yeah.
and everything was history. Like I fell in love with yoga, not with a person. I fell in love with yoga, and then so yeah, after that, after yoga, I became a triathlete, and I was rocket trained and I teach Ashtanga. So in the yoga world, that's very yang.
Yeah.
And then I'm a triathlete. So again, it's very yang.
Yeah.
And since I was always in Beyond anyway, I'd be taking the classes of the teachers as well. And I discovered Yin.
Yeah.
And again, I fell in love. I keep falling in love, my God. So I
With
fell in love with,
exercises.
yeah. So I fell in love with Yin. And again, when I saw the opportunity to take teacher training for that, I took
Mm.
it. Initially, I wanted to take the teacher training just so that I can do my self practice, not
Yeah.
really to teach.
Yeah.
I just wanted it to be for myself. It was a
Yeah.
personal thing. But then after about 2 months of being certified, people kept asking me to start teaching.
Yeah.
So I had to indulge the world.
Yeah.
I had to start teaching. So yeah, it's been an amazing journey.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would be sane if I didn't have the yoga practice
Yeah.
in my in me.
For our viewers who are in the Facebook page, I'm sure that they have a lot of passions as well. That
Mhm.
they are thinking of turning into something that can be paying for them or something that they can earn from. I
Yeah.
think based on your story, you're saying that if you're passionate and people see that passion in you, it kind of just comes naturally.
Yes.
But aside
Yeah.
from, how did you sustain that 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 desire or drive to keep giving, to keep making it work for people? Because you're also you're also a celebrity, you're an actress, you have like more lucrative business ventures out there, but what keeps you doing yoga, teaching yoga?
It's really all about, it's not just about inspiring people, but it's really how it's so nice to see how you're a part of someone's journey.
Yeah.
And I get inspired by my students as well. Whenever they have a breakthrough, I feel like I'm the one who had the breakthrough. I
Yeah.
feel like I'm the one who won the lottery. If all of a
Yeah.
sudden they do a bind, and so I've been teaching classes via Zoom, and sometimes, sometimes as a teacher, you second guess yourself and you think, am I a good teacher? Am
Yeah.
I actually making sense when I say all of these anecdotes to my students? Because, right, you
Yeah,
have
I get it.
anecdotes sometimes. Yeah, you share some insights with your students, and sometimes you think like, okay, am I making sense? Does this apply to them as well? And sometimes I have those moments of just second guessing myself. And then I get a message from, without even saying it out loud, and then I get a message from one of my students, and then they would just say, hey, I just wanted to share. I just felt the need, I had the urge to share this with you, but ever since I've taken guild classes with you, and then they just like let me know about the changes. And
Mm.
that feeling is something that you cannot buy. That feeling is so priceless. You cannot put a price tag in that you are part of someone's life changing.
Yeah.
So I think teaching yoga is just that. It's not, you can't do it for the money.
Yeah.
It's nice. It's a of course you still earn from it. It's a nice way to earn a living. But at the same time, if you want to get rich and buy, multiple condos with it, it's not gonna happen. um, but it's very priceless. You can't put a price tag into, how you make the students feel, how you inspire your students, how you change their lives, how you change their mental state, how you change the way that they move, they think.
Yeah.
Sometimes, and this is whether online or, and I'm sure again, this, Ben, right? Like you see, of course, if it's Zoom or you see them in person, you see their face sometimes, you can see how haggard they are. And
Yeah.
you just don't say anything, of course, but you can tell just by the look at your students, like, okay, this person had a hard day. They probably had a long day, they probably had a stressful day, but
Yeah.
you're not there to ask them,
Yeah.
but and or sometimes you just feel that energy, right? And after the yoga class, there is really that glow.
Yeah.
Sometimes, yeah, I remember there was this one girl before she went to my class. She really looked like she didn't sleep for like 5 days.
Wow.
And when I saw her, I was like, whoa. And she said, yeah, I haven't practiced in so long. And
Yeah.
she was just telling me all about it. And I said, okay, it's okay. We can just modify.
Mm.
Anyway, after the practice, she had this glow as if she slept for 5 days.
Wow.
And it was amazing. She
Yeah.
was so beautiful and glowing. And, just being a part of that,
Yeah.
even if it's just an hour a day in a person's life, it's so, I mean, it's selfish
It's
to say, but
priceless.
it's life
Yeah.
changing. It's something
Yeah.
that I love for myself as
Yeah.
well,
Yeah. How
right?
how
So it's
how can students join your classes on
they
Zoom?
they can just DM me to inquire on Instagram, because I
Yeah.
usually just send everything through IGDM, because the
Yeah.
non-techie side of me
Yeah.
doesn't want to go through all of these things
All the apps.
anymore.
Yeah.
So, yeah, all of the apps. So usually it's just, I have,
Yeah.
for some weird reason, I have like different folders in my DMs in Instagram.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I get to segregate the
Yeah.
yoga students from the rest. So yeah,
Yeah.
they can just DM me via Instagram.
Yeah. For
Yeah,
those
on my
who are
personal page.
viewing, Bubbles' Instagram is at Bubbles Paraiso. We'll flash it in a
Yeah,
bit. But
yeah,
aside from Bubbles' personal classes, Bubbles Beyond Studio is also offering a digital version of our
yes.
classes. Yes.
So
Can you
so
tell us
if
more about it?
Yeah, so since our studios are closed for now, just for now, while the pandemic is going on and while we're not allowed to reopen our studios, we have our Beyond Digital Studio. So it's all of our teachers, or most of our teachers are teaching there. We have promos ongoing, and we have it's a full sched. Because again, if it's just me, I only teach once a day with a certain schedule that fits
Yeah,
my
that fits
schedule.
yours.
So, if your schedule does not fit mine, we have a more flexible schedule at our digital studio in Beyond Yoga, and we have our best teachers on board. The schedule is posted at I Go Beyond Yoga, so please do check our studio's Instagram page as well. And you can also email us at digitalstudio@igobeyondyoga.com.
Yeah.
Our rates are there. We have a lot of promos, and
Yeah.
we have different classes there from Ashtanga to Yin to Rocket. Oh my God, I love Rocket. Rocket to Vinyasa. And we even have Zumba. I actually joined Zumba classes. You just don't know because I turn off the camera. It's so fun. The tita in me comes out. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness. It's super fun, guys. Like,
Yeah.
I never thought, okay, I never really attended Zumba classes because I thought it was such a tita thing.
Yeah.
But every time, so I'd always be at the Beyond Surrender studio before. And every time there was a Zumba class and I'm there, I'd be behind the CCTV monitor and I'm secretly, dancing. So when we opened the digital studio, it was perfect.
Yeah. Also, parang in the
Yeah.
Serendra studio, you can only fit so much people there. So there's
Yeah.
really no chance of you going inside. But in digital studio, we can host as many people as we can because you're all at home
Yeah. Yeah, and you don't have to turn on your camera for Zumba. For yoga, better to turn on the camera so you can
Yeah.
get your cues because, if you turn your camera off, then the teacher won't be able to see you and won't be able to give you verbal corrections for the
Yeah.
poses. So, and that's why you're attending a live class. With Zumba, it's okay to turn it off. By the way, starting this month, we also started kids yoga and kids Zumba in
It's
our
so much
digital
fun.
studio. So imagine all of those kids dancing also and practicing
That's so
yoga.
cute. I want to watch that.
Yeah.
Aside from that, I think we also have the recorded classes for those who have less flexibility in their time.
Yeah. So, there's really no excuse because a lot of us, we always have the excuse of, okay, I don't have time, I don't have the energy. So, again, if you don't have time for the live classes, you can also access our library
Yeah.
and practice at your own time, especially if you're from a different country. I have students from different countries, and sometimes I think like, wow, really? Because I think about the time difference. They're practicing
Yeah.
at like 10 p.m. and this is also a nice way to get your practice done in a more convenient time. So we have
Yeah.
our library at our Beyond Studio. It's really, there's really no excuse. I think if you don't practice, it's really on you. But
Yeah.
again, it's okay if there is a day where you feel that you don't want to practice because you feel off. It's okay also. Don't beat yourself up
Yeah.
too hard for it.
There are many people actually who are commenting. I just didn't get to see some of them.
Okay.
There's William Witherspoon who says that Bubbles was our Alaska Aces muse back in 2011. Hindi na tayo kita.
Yes, I was the
yeah,
muse. Yes, Fred
yeah.
is a triathlete also. He's the one who owns Sunrise, who is the
Okay.
owner of the franchise of Ironman Asia. Or
Okay.
Ironman, or they're the ones who bring in Ironman in the Philippines. Yeah, I was the
Yeah.
muse.
Yeah. That's
Oh my God, that was so long ago.
9 years
That
ago.
was,
Yeah. I know.
you know what? Okay, the story there is I was the muse because I was close to the sons of I think their manager, Tito Waki Trillo, and he asked his son, because I was friends with his sons, if they could get me to be the
muse.
muse. Like, it was so informal. It was just like, Bubs, can you be our muse? I'm like, sure.
And then a couple of years later, you are now racing in their triathlon
Yeah.
races.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
parang it's something coming full circle. That's what it is.
Yeah, something
Yeah.
full circle.
So before we close, we'd like to ask you, Bubbles, to invite us to follow you and attend your classes on your social
Okay.
media accounts.
Yeah, so again, I offer live Zoom classes via Zoom. I offer live classes you can just contact me at my social media or my Instagram account at Bubbles Paraiso. But also, if you want to have access to more classes, to more variations, also more variety, or even a library, you can also go to at I Go Beyond Yoga for our Google Meet classes. That's full library of classes for our studio. So yeah, if it's just me, if it's my classes, you can go to me personally directly, and then for the rest of the studio with all of the teachers that I actually attend classes also. So you might see me as a classmate there at
Yeah.
Beyond.
Again, so thank you so much, Bubbles, for joining us this morning. Now afternoon, it's 12:01. So
Okay.
thanks for gracing us and hope to see you again in the future in the show.
Yes.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Ben. Thanks,
Bobs.
guys.
So before we close, we'd like to announce the winners of our giveaway for today. So our winners are Malu Sebalia, Janice Alipio. I'm not sure if this is correct. Maybe this is Cindy Diaz, just written on the reverse. So for all of you, please email us at digitalstudio@igobeyondyoga.com to claim your prize. So uh, we're giving away class passes to our Beyond Digital Studio. So again, thank you so much, everyone, for joining our show. Thank you to our guests today, Bubbles Paraiso and Sara Black. And as a final note, I'd like to invite everyone to join the Beyond Digital Studio for classes via Google Meet. You can follow us at I Go Beyond Yoga on Instagram, and also I Go Beyond Yoga on Facebook for more details about our digital class or digital studio. So again, thank you so much to Bounce Back Network for having us here. I am Ben Bernabe, your host, and until next time, namaste. Thank you, everyone.